There's a parable that Jesus told in the book of Matthew, and it is about the parable of the talents. And we've misused this in church a lot to talk about money. And if God gives you money, you can go get more money. Like, yes, talents were money. In those days, a talent represented a large amount of time, 20 years of work. So let's do that work. Say you're just working minimum wage. So 20 years of wages, of full-time wage, represent what a talent was. So Jesus tells a story about a ruler, a man who has servants under him, and he gives one servant 5 talents. That's 100 years of wages. Okay? And it says instantly the guy that he gave 5 talent to, because he's giving it to it and he's going away. The ruler's giving it to the servants and then he goes away. So he gave one 5 talents, one 2 talents, and one talent. So the moment he gives it to the man with 5 talents, he gives them 5 talents. He gives them these 2 talents and 1 talent. The guy with 5 talents immediately goes and says, I'm going to make my 5 talents work for me. He didn't say I'm not going to go live off my 5 talents. Because in that place, if he did, his capacity is 5 talents. Right? That's his capacity now. I'm going to live off this. But as you live off of it and you use it, the physical capacity grows down. But what he said is, I believe I can take this 5 talents because I have money in my life already. I have a job and all these things. So what he's given me on top of this, I'm now going to take this 5 talents, make it work for me. And it says he goes and takes this 5 and turns it into 10 talents. So thinking about a mental and emotional capacity right here, would you say that the man who got 5 talents, his capacity was 5 talents? I would challenge that mentally and emotionally, his capacity was 10 talents. Although physically he didn't have 10 talents in his hands, but the 5 that he had didn't define it. He said, I have a capacity for more. Physically, haven't reached it yet, but if my mind and my emotions can get me to a place to seek more, then my capacity will actually grow. See, every one of us want growth in our life, but we're limited because we have a mind and emotion that tells us that maybe we're not worthy of it, tells us that we'll never make it there, gives us the what ifs and the fear and the anxiety of all that lies out. Oh, if I do this, what comes with it? But he said, I can do more with this. The one who had 2 talents instantly took his out, same thing. I'm going to make this work for me. And he turns his 2 into 4. See, his capacity wasn't what was in his hand. His capacity wasn't what he had before he got the 2 talents. His mental and emotional capacity prepared him for more. But the guy with 1 talent, if he had only been wired like the other 2, but he said, you know what? Nah, the ruler's going to come back, and I just want to make sure I don't lose what he gave me. So I'm going to go bury it and give it back to him. You know, I said this on Sunday, and I want to retract maybe a little bit. I said his capacity was 1 talent, but actually it wasn't. Because he knew that the ruler was going to come back and want that. So his capacity wasn't the 1 talent, it was actually 0. He had a 0 capacity in his mind and emotions because what he said was, this isn't even mine, so I'm just going to do everything I can to not lose it. This is a broken mentality for stewardship.